Hi, this is Bob, and we're going to do a playthrough of the latter part of the game 20th Air Force by Fortress Games. I've done another playthrough of early in the game. My last playthrough took place in turn 4, December 1944. But I realized the game mechanics change so much as the game advances and you acquire new weaponry and new capabilities and new targets, etc. That a playthrough of a couple turns in the later part of the game would be very informative to those who have questions about that portion of the game. So we're playing today, we're going to play July and August of 1945, so turn 11 and 12. So a lot's happening. We should have atomic bombs here. We should be destroying, firebombing Japanese cities, etc. So there's a lot going on. So I'm going to go a little faster through the turns, assuming that you understand the basics. If you don't understand the basics, look at my other playthrough of turn 4. We cover the basics very nicely there. Here we're going to move a little bit quicker so we can get through 2 turns. All right, so I'm going to follow here so you can see it up close. I've got the time track here. You can see we're on July, turn 11, July 1945. First phase, the Imperial Japanese Army Air Force moves the anti-aircraft unit. So you use the the Imperial Japanese Army Air Force new group placement table for that. They rolled a 1 and a 3, so that anti-aircraft unit moves to 2. It's already at 2, so it stays there. All right, next part of phase 1, track reinforced. So we're looking for any tracks that have at least 3 more groups than any other track in the Japanese defense. So we see here, track number 1, defending Tokyo, has 5 groups, and we've got a few tracks that only have 2, so we are going to move 1. When you have multiple tracks that you could move it into, we got to move 1 from here into one of these. You take the lowest numbered rather, so the higher priority track. So we're going to move, and you move the strongest one. So we're going to take the strongest group, 4 with attached squadron, so 6, and we're going to move it to the lowest target track that has at least 3 less than this one. So it moves into here. All right, track reinforced. New groups, we're on turn 11, and the Japanese do indeed get 2 new groups, the 27th Air Regiment and 112th Air Regiment. So let's grab those. That, by the way, is the last of the Japanese reinforcements, unless you use the optional rule with the sharp sword, the ME 163 copy. We're not going to be doing that. All right. All reinforcements come in with an attached squadron, and we place it using the new group placement table. So let's go ahead and roll. 1-5. So the first one appears in 3. You always go with the strongest one first. So this appears in track 3. And the second roll, 5-5. This appears in track 4. All right. That finishes phase 1. Phase 2, U.S. new groups, none. Return to bases. Return to base. So here on Iwo Jima, we've got 4 squadrons. Give you a quick peek over there. You see that we got 4 squadrons. We're going to take those back. After the base at Iwo Jima becomes operational, we get all return to bases back. So these 4 come back, and then we manufacture squadrons as well. And in July of 1945, the U.S. is manufacturing 4 squadrons. So we take 4 squadrons from the dead pile as well. All right, so we got 8 squadrons here. So we're gonna have some pretty strong forces to attack Japan this turn. I'll get each of these. I got a couple groups here that don't have a squadron at all from losses from last turn. We'll get those all set up, and now we can actually double up on a few. I'll give 1. Oh, he's already got 2 squadrons. 2. So we got 5 squadrons, 5 groups that have 2 squadrons, and the remainder have 1. So we're pretty strong. All right, that takes care of phase 2. On to phase 3, add, remove bombing campaigns. We're in July. So in fact, we're adding one. Anything underlined is being added. That's the port bombing campaign. And we're removing the kamikaze base campaign. So let's remove kamikaze base first. You take off the bombing campaign counter and you remove the targets. We've got 3 kamikaze base targets. Those get removed. The campaign's over. We had 2 of them bombed. Those just go back into the bomb counter coffee cup. And we add the new one, ports. So, where are my port? Here we are. So these are the port targets right here. We got one on 3, target track 3, target track 5, Sasebo, target track 2, Shimizu, target track 4, the very famous port of Kure, and Chiba, near Tokyo. All right, those are, and we placed the bombing campaign tracking counter at the start space of ports. All right, so I think we finished that. On to the next phase, bombing by Navy. We are on turn 11, so the bombing by Navy does start. How does bombing by Navy work? You roll one die, I should say, and a 1 or 2, nothing happens. 3, 4, 5, or 6, and we can destroy a bombing campaign target of our choice. So we'll roll. 1, rats, nothing. So if we rolled a hit, I could have selected any one of these bombing campaign targets and hit it. The Navy would have hit it. But they let me down that time. All right, that's okay. Now we do our mission construction. Now, a little bit of the game status, which is going to dictate the missions. I've got 4 cities completely destroyed: Tokyo, Yokohama, Kawasaki, and Nagoya. I actually moved the counters over there to help me keep track, because each one of these is worth a research point. So I moved them into the research square to remind me, research box to remind me that I've got 4 research points from the cities. 2 cities remain not completely destroyed. The most intact is Kobe, which has 50% incendiary destruction, because I've destroyed the air production and oil tracks, but infrastructure and housing are still there. And housing can only be destroyed by low altitude area bombing. You can use high altitude precision to get the other tracks, but you get housing, you've got to use low altitude area bombing, and hope. I've obviously done my research on reconnaissance, so I use the 3 random, but hope that you roll a dice that includes housing. Roll a die roll that includes housing, because a roll of 1 and a roll of 5 do not get housing. Do not get the housing track. I need a 2. Now I'm gonna area bomb Kobe, and I think I've got a 2/3 chance of getting infrastructure and housing. Right? I need a 3 gets infrastructure and housing, a 4 infrastructure and housing, and a 6. So I got 50% chance of getting infrastructure and housing. So I'm going to go for that and try that, and then I'm going to use precision bombing to take out the last track of Osaka. So let's set that up first. I'll use some of my groups that only have 1 squadron attached to do the high altitude bombing of Osaka, because at high altitude they're less likely to be intercepted. For the low altitude, and I only need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I need 1 more. 5. All right, I want to make sure I got that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I need 5 to knock out to take the 5 hits off the oil track. Kobe, I'm going to hit it with 7, because I need, if I get housing, I need 7 to take housing out. So I'm going to give them a couple of these groups that have two squadrons attached, because this is going to be low level, so it's bound to take more losses. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is at low altitude. I'll put that in 2 piles. I don't want it to spill. Low altitude, going into Kobe. And I'm going to make that the second mission. I'll let these guys go first. Maybe they'll pick off a few of these fighters at the high altitude, hopefully. Now, what else can I do? I've got, I got to hit some ports. This is high altitude, so I think I'll be pretty safe here. This guy can intercept with 3, 4, 5, 7, 11, 12, 6. Yeah, he can't do too much damage to me. 6, yeah, so this will be safe with just these guys. They'll hit Sasebo. Yeah, while I'm at it, I might as well hit the mines there, since I'm going into that track anyway. And since I'm going into this track anyway, these guys should take out some of those fighters. So I'll go in. Ports are high altitude. Every target, every bombing campaign target dictates what type of bombing it requires, and high altitude precision bombing is used for ports. So I'll hit 2 ports. Let's see. Do I feel daring enough to hit? I don't want to take too many chances on losses. You know, I'll hit the mines here. I doubt that they'll have to get very lucky to get me. All right, good. I think we're all set then. On to the next phase. We've set up our mission structure. Now we execute the missions. So let's get these big guys over with first. All right, my high altitude bombing run on Osaka. Let's see if the Japanese intercept. This is a high altitude precision, so they'll only intercept on a 5 or 6. 3, so they do not intercept. So I'm only subjected to anti-aircraft fire. 3 for the target, 5 for the track is 8 anti-aircraft. Take half of that because it's high altitude. So 4, so the anti-aircraft going on the 4 column and gets a 1, so no losses. So this is awesome. Osaka, I'm gonna take these guys back. They've done their job. Nice job, guys. No losses, that's always good. So Osaka, 5 hits. We're in the incendiary period, so that is destroyed. Take that off. And Osaka is now destroyed. So I'll put that over here to remind me that I've got a research point for Osaka. The only city left is Kobe, and I need to hit that. So that's our next mission. We're going in. I got a feeling we're not gonna miss being intercepted on this one. Low altitude area bombing. The Japanese intercept on a roll of 2 through 6, with everything intercepting me on a roll of 4 through 6. Let's see how they do. And a 6. That's everything. All right, so the Japanese are intercepting with everything they've got. Okay. So this is low altitude, so we're using the full combat factors. The Japanese have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They would have 15, but I have done significant damage to their oil level output, and that reduces their combat effectiveness in air battles. So the oil level intercept status is at -3, which means the 3 lowest combat factor units, while they participate in combat, they can be destroyed. Their combat factors are not contributed. So 3 of these, 3 of the lowest ones, so the lowest ones are worth 2. So 2, 4, 6 do not count in the Japanese air combat factors. So the Japanese have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, ignore those 6. 9 plus 5 is 14. Plus 3 for the target is 17. So the Japanese roll on the 17 column, which would be 16 column. You take the column that's not in excess of their combat factors. So on the 16 column, the Japanese roll a 2. So I have 1 returned to base and 1 destroyed. So I'll take it off these guys that have two, that already have 2 squadrons attached. 1 destroyed, goes to the dead pile. 1 returned to base. I'm putting it off. You can't see it here, but over on Iwo Jima. Now we get to fire back, and it's going to be good. All right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 5 is 35, and plus these 2, the one that was destroyed and the one that went to base, so 35 plus 2 is 37. So there we're on the 37 column. And let's see how we do. Oh, we got a 6. Boy, that's good. So we got 4. Remember, you don't, on Japanese losses, you ignore the return to base. 37, a 6. We got 4 destroyed. So you always take squadrons first. 1, 2, and then the lowest level groups come off, 3, 4, and those go to the Japanese dead pile, which is getting quite large. All right, these guys go back to base. We did a number on them, and now we roll. I need, in order to get the infrastructure and housing, there's a low altitude area bombing. I've got 3 random. I need a 3, a 4, or a 6. All right, keep your fingers crossed. 3. A-I-H. Air's already gone. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits to the infrastructure. That takes it out. 7 hits to housing. That takes it out. A bunch of good stuff is about to happen. All right, Kobe goes off here. I'm going to put it in my research box. Kobe's destroyed. All right, what do we have going on now? First of all, once every city is at least 75% destroyed, at least, so 75 or 100, and we hadn't reached that point earlier because Kobe was only 50% destroyed with infrastructure and housing still around. Once you reach that, then you activate, that's the thing that actually activates the minor city targets. So all of these targets are now activated. I'm actually going to turn off the camera for a moment so you don't have to sit through this because I'm going to put all these on, and that takes a little while. So give me a pause here. Okay, I've placed all the targets. All these minor city targets are now active. The other thing that occurs when we destroy, when we reach that 75% to 100% destroyed, we're at 100% for each city, is we get the 4 red diamond B-29 groups. So we reinforce our forces quite a bit. That's America rewarding success. They come with a squadron attached, if there are squadrons, and there are. So we just got a significant reinforcement, which we're going to need because we'll be firebombing tons of small and medium-sized towns shortly. All right, these guys return to base. So we are in good shape. We are in good shape. All right. We've also reached a status called maximum practical destruction, MPD. But we'll get to that in a moment. In the meantime, let's finish our missions. So we've got we did what we had to do when we reached that status. We've got all our minor city targets out. Next turn, we'll be able to hit them. And we've got our reinforcements. We'll be able to use them. Now we'll just finish these missions up. We got a mission to Kure, to bomb the port of Kure. Again, that's high altitude. Let's see if the Japanese intercept. They do. They rolled a 5. So half of them intercept. So we take the highest value. But if you're watching this video, you'll presume you know. When you have multiple, when you're taking half, you line them up strongest to weakest and take the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, blah, blah, blah. And those are the intercepting planes. So, this Japanese plane is not reduced because of the oil issue, because no matter how much you subtract because of the oil level shortage that the Japanese have, they can always use one of their units. So they've only got one unit, so he's going to be able to participate. So you got 5, 10, 11 combat factor. Cut that in half. Rounded up is 6. So he'll roll on the 4 column. And we're going to roll. We'll do this simultaneously. We're going to roll. We've got 6 plus 5 is 11. Half of that is, again, 6. So we're both rolling on the 4 column, so we'll roll simultaneously. We rolled a 1, they rolled a 6. Well, isn't that nice? So a 1, we don't get them at all. They rolled a 6. They get 1 damaged, 1 destroyed. All right. 1 damage, excuse me, one destroyed to the dead pile, 1 returned to base, I should say. And now we obviously have hit that target, so we pull out a bombed counter. 3. Carries hit. These guys return to the Marianas. All right, we've got another mission here. We'll do this one next to lay some mines, see if the Japanese intercept. They rolled a 1, so they do not. As you probably know, in mines, there is no anti-aircraft. So unless the Japanese Air Force intercepts, there is no, the mine layers go in unmolested. So we pulled a 1. That was a successful mine laying mission. All right. And here we're hitting the base, the port at Sasebo. See if the Japanese intercept. They do not. They rolled a 2. So we're only subjected to anti-aircraft fire. 1 plus 4 is 5. Cut in half would be 3. So we're rolling the 1 column. 2, nothing. So Sasebo is hit. And we didn't suffer any losses, which is great. All right, they return to base. And our last mission, mine laying. Mine laying in track 5. Interception, 5. Yes, we have an interception, half. So again, we've got 4 and 3, so the 4 will intercept. Okay? The 3 will not. And the Japanese, there's no anti-aircraft, so it's just plane on plane. But because of the oil issue, the Japanese lose up to 3 units combat factors, but you can always use 1, so they'll just lose the effect of 1. So the Japanese have 2, cut in half is 1, so they'll be rolling on the 1 column. I've got 4, 5, 6, cut in half is 3. I'll be rolling on the 1 column. So we're both rolling on the 1 column. I rolled a 3, 0. Japan rolled a 6, 1 and 1. That was unfortunate. So I lose my two accompanying squadrons. 1 goes to the dead pile, 1 return to base. And the Japanese don't get hit. So they return to base, and we have mined area 5, track 5. Okay, that finishes up our missions, execute missions, on to score campaigns and victory. Scoring campaigns, we've got 2 campaigns going on, mine laying and ports. Mine laying, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we've hit all 5 of them. So all we do is subtract 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, we max it out at -2. Ports, we've hit 1, 2, we've hit 2, so we move back 2, and then we haven't hit 3. 1, 2, 3, so we move it up 3. So we're doing fine on that. We're doing fine on that. Victory comes if we get 15 firebombed minor cities with at least 1 in each track. Firebombed or atomic bombed. Destroyed, in other words. So obviously we're not there yet. 7, tally oil, air, and infrastructure tracks. That's adding up the damage for air production, oil, and infrastructure, and relating that to the Japanese national industry damage. Every single track has been destroyed, so every single track is at -30. There's 30 points of air production, 30 points of oil, and 30 points of infrastructure between the 6 cities, spread out differently. In any case, they're all destroyed, so they're all at 0. I've done the best I can do. Imperial Japanese Air Force manufacture squadrons. So you use the air production level, which is 1. 1's not even on here on on the Imperial Japanese Army Air Force manufacturer air production table. One's not even on here because if Imperial Japanese Army Air Force air production level is 1, you always produce 1 manufactured unit. So the Japanese get 1 from their dead pile, and they always take the group first. But unlike 8th Air Force, the Japanese get the weakest group first. So they get, in that case, it's a 2. There's no vacant tracks, so it's placed based on the new group placement table. And we rolled red 5, green 1. Red 5, green 1, so this goes to area 1. All right. Next phase, research and return B-29 groups. No B-29 groups have been destroyed. If they were, they'd be in the research box. So we just do research. All right, this is exciting because we've got 10 research points. We've got 4 from the track. That was the one we start with, plus 1 for each completed research, 4. And then we get 1 for each destroyed city. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We only need 9 to advance. So we advance 1, and lo and behold, we received 2 bombs and the 393rd Squadron to deliver them. 2 atom bombs. So there's our atom bombs, and here's our 3 planes to deliver them. The Enola Gay, the Boxcar, and Full House. So we're going to be throwing some atom bombs on the next turn. Bombing repair. First is bombing campaign repair. And you recall this, we roll 2 dice, and any of these bombing campaigns where the bombed counter matches the die roll are considered repaired. This is always a good roll. It's nice when you're doing repairs and you roll doubles because that essentially halves the Japanese repairs. So 4s, only 4s are repaired. We have 4 here on the mining target in track 1, a 4 here on the mining target on track 3, and that's it. So these 2 4s are repaired, go back into the coffee cup. Minor city restoration, none have been destroyed yet, so we're not worried about restoring them. Major city restoration after maximum practical destruction is achieved. So we're going to go into an important rule here. So we have reached maximum practical destruction, all 6 cities, 100% destroyed. When that happens, you restore 1 city. The first time you do this, and this will be the first time we do it because we just reached MPD, it's always Tokyo. So we restore Tokyo. Okay, Tokyo's back in action. And each of Tokyo's industry tracks go to the minimum. So air, oil, infrastructure, housing at the minimum. So Tokyo has a 0% destroyed here. We still will always receive Tokyo's research point. We still have 10 research points. As you can see here, even if a major city is restored, we never lose. We get 1 per destroyed major city, even if that major city is restored. So the restoration of this city does not make us lose that research point. We have 10 research points still. But what it does do is produce the only mandatory bombing that we're required to do in the game. You never have to bomb anything. But when a city is restored in this phase, it has to be bombed. And we'll go into that when we set up our missions on the next turn. All right, last phase, major city repair. Okay, we're subtracting 6 from the die roll. We're in the late war. 4 minus 6 is minus 2. So 5 repair points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll put the 5th one on infrastructure. So each of those got a repair point. So, okay. Actually, I'm going to make that housing get the last repair. All right. That'll reduce the number of planes I need to bomb next turn. You'll see. Okay, so that finishes the turn. We go on to August of 1945. Turn 12. It's going to be an exciting turn. We got the bomb and everything. All right. First, phase, Japanese move their anti-aircraft unit. They roll a red 1, green 4, so it goes to area 3. Where is that thing? Here it is. Goes to goes to track 3. Okay. Track reinforced. Do any of the tracks have more than another track by at least 3? Well, we've got track 1 that has 5, and we've got track 4 and 5 that both have 2. So we've got to take the strongest one from track 1. I can choose one of 3. You got 2 4s, and then this one's 4. I don't know. I'll pull this. I'll pull one of these, and it goes into the lowest numbered of the tracks that would otherwise require the input. So there it is. All right, and then new groups. If we were playing the optional rule, Japan would now receive the Sharp Sword 312th Air Group, which was essentially a copy of the ME-163. Kind of interesting rule, but we're going to skip that because we're focusing on other things. So nothing for the Japanese in terms of new groups. Second phase, U.S. New groups, none. Replace, return to base. We had 3 squadrons that were sent back to base last turn. And manufacture squadrons, we get 4. So we get 4 from our dead pile. Okay, so let me set those up. First, I'll fill in the ones that lost all their squadrons, so everybody has at least 1 squadron. And now I'll start doubling up. Double up, double up. So I've got 6 groups, excuse me, 6 groups that have 2 squadrons, which is good. All right. That's the second phase. On to the third phase, add, remove bombing campaigns. We are on turn 12, and nothing's being removed. However, you'll note that mine laying's in red. When a bombing campaign is in red, that means it's coming out the next turn. So to give you a little heads up that it's coming out the next turn. So mine laying, that's important for us because we don't want to do anything in mine laying more than we have to because it's coming off next turn anyway. So that'll be an important thing in our decision process. Okay, let's see if the Navy can help us this time. We're on to the fourth phase, bombing by Navy. And mission construction. So last time we rolled a 1 or 2. They didn't do anything. We'll see if we do better this time. 4. So the Navy helps us. We get to destroy 1 bombing campaign target thanks to the U.S. Navy. I'd sing their theme song right now, but I don't sing very well. All right, I'm going to choose, well, we don't care about the mine laying because we don't need to hit those. So I'm going to hit, I've got to bomb Tokyo anyway. I've got to go into Tokyo anyway, so you know what? I won't hit there, so I'll hit them as part of that process. I'll hit this track. All right, thanks, Navy. And now we plan our missions. All right, first of all, I must bomb Tokyo when it recovers because of maximum practical destruction. I must bomb it. By the way, next time when I destroy this and we reach MPD status again, all 6 cities destroyed. Instead of just choosing Tokyo, we'll roll dice. Each city has a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that city will be restored. But the first time it's Tokyo. I have to attack Tokyo with the minimum of the amount of hits to take housing to 0, which would be 3. Or excuse me, the maximum of the amount it would take housing to get to 0, which would be 3. And the amount that would take the other tracks to get to 0, which would be, each of these has 2, right, to get totally destroyed. So 2, 4, 6. So I have to take the maximum of that, either 3 or 6, so it's 6. So that has to be attacked by 6 groups. I'm going to go in low level because I want to take out housing. I don't want housing to get out of control. The other option I have, always, instead of sending regular bombers, is I can attack it with an atomic bomb. But I'm not going to because if it was real high, if I just missed housing all the time and it got up to like, say, 12, I'd hit it with an atomic bomb instead because I don't want to use 12 groups to attack. But I only need 6 groups, so I'm gonna do it with groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, they're going in low level and they're hitting Tokyo. And all right, let's see here. Since I'm going in hard with Tokyo. I got a feeling I'm going to do some damage to these fighters. So I'm going to also hit I'm going to hit maybe all these towns. We'll see. Let's see if I have enough planes to do that. I'm going to hit, yeah, I'm gonna hit him hard. All right. I'm gonna hit all 4 of them. 1, 2. Each of these can take a 3 squadron loss. I might even make them stronger to ensure I do hit those cities. We'll see what I have left. All right, I'm hitting those 4 cities in the Tokyo area in track 1. Hachoji, Kamogaya, Isazaki, and Chosi are all getting hit. And then I'm gonna hit the mine laying. Now you'll say, what are you daft about? Why are you hitting mine laying? There's no benefit to it. The reason why I'm hitting mine laying is, those of you who played this game before will know what I'm up to. If I wipe out all these planes with the first few raids, whenever there's multiple raids here and no planes left, those raids all go to their target simultaneously and take one single combined anti-aircraft hit, which is a great reduction of anti-aircraft. Furthermore, they take the anti-aircraft status of the least anti-aircraft affected raid in the group. So let's say the Tokyo raid wiped out these planes, and these four cities were being bombed, and the mine laying was taking place, all without fighters here, so they all get put on their target simultaneously. There'd actually be no anti-aircraft fire, because the least anti-aircraft impacted would be the mine laying, which is 0. Anti-aircraft can't fire at them, and all missions in that status incorporate the anti-aircraft status of the least impacted. So that's why I'm going to put this here. We don't need to hit any mines, but if these guys go in and he's with them, they won't be subjected to anti-aircraft fire at all, which would be awesome. All right, now I got more groups. I'm going to hit some more. I'm going to hit. These guys are pretty weak. I'm going to hit just 2 cities here. Let's say Nagasaki and Kagoshima. I'm going to hit those, and I'm going to send my nukes. I got 2 nuclear bombs, so I'm going to send the Enola Gay. I'm going to have her attack Matsuyama, and I'm going to have full house. In this, we can only put 1 atomic bombing mission per track. I'm going to put full house to attack Uji Yamada. All right, now, one thing I always do when I'm using atomic bombs, when they attack minor cities, if they miss, if weather is such that they can't hit it, if it's a minor city, they can try for a second one. So I always try to make sure that the track I'm doing an atomic attack in has at least 2, my target, and 1 additional undamaged minor city, so I have an alternate target if the weather doesn't work. You'd hate to be in an area where, let's say all 3 of these targets were hit, I go in, the weather disallows it, but there's no other targets in the track to go to for my second track, so I lose that opportunity. That's not something you want to do. Late in the game, you can't afford to make a ton of mistakes. You gotta pile things up. All right, all my planes are assigned missions, including my atomic missions. So we go on to the execute mission phase. I'll save the atomic ones for last. Let's go into this big area here and accomplish these missions. All right, first one, which I knocked over, of course, is Tokyo. So we've got 1, 2, these are low altitude, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if the Japanese intercept. Low altitude area bombing. 3. Half of them intercept. So you line them up strongest to weakest. I'm going to put this guy here because I can put either one of them first. They're both 4. But I'm going to put him because I want to possibly take out two units. 3, 4. So when half of them intercept, you line them up strongest to weakest, and you take every other one. So they're intercepting. All right. So we'll roll these simultaneously. The Japanese have 2, 4. They would have 6, but again, because of the oil damage, they're losing the effect of 4 units, 4 of their least effective units. So, but the Japanese always get to use 1, so they're going to lose these 2. So they'll only have 2 combat factors although everything's subjected to loss. 2 plus the anti-aircraft for Tokyo, 5 plus the track, 6, so they're at 11. So they'll roll in the 10 column. And I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I'll roll on the 28 column. So 10 column and 28 column. Japanese got a 3, I got a 4. 10 column, a 3, 1 return to base, and 1 destroyed. Okay, 1 return to base, 1 destroyed, 1 goes to the dead pile, and 1 goes to Iwo Jima. And we got a 4 on the 28 column. Again, with Japanese, you ignore return to base, so we destroyed 3. So we destroyed all of them. So all these go to the dead pile. Good job, B-29s, and that's very helpful to have thinned out those ranks. I wish we'd gotten all of them, but oh well. Now, let's see what we accomplished in our bombing. Low altitude area bombing. I'll use the red dice. 5. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Air and oil. So housing survived. Air and oil are destroyed. That puts Tokyo down to 50%. But yeah, that could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot better. All right. These guys go home. Could have done better, guys, but at least you wiped out some Japanese fighters. Okay, the next mission, going to Hachoji. Let's see if he's intercepted. Again, these are all low altitude because each target, other than major cities, dictates what bombing approach the bombers have to take, and minor cities is low altitude. So let's see if the Japanese intercept. 5. All right, they all intercept. So hopefully we'll wipe them out. We'll see, I don't know. So the Japanese, they lose the effect of this one because of oil. So 4, 7, 13. Ooh, okay. And I've got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the Japanese are on the 13 column, and I'm on the 11 column, or 10 column. Japanese get a 3, I get a 5. So 13, 3, 1 and 1. 1 destroyed, 1 returned to base. And I got a 5 on the 10 column, which is 1 destroyed. All right. Now we're bombing Hichoji. The way you bomb minor cities is, you'll note, 6 plus. You have to roll a 6 or better to successfully bomb it, and you modify your die roll by how many units are bombing it. It's the only time we care about squadrons in bombing is when you're bombing minor cities. So this has 3 units bombing it, two groups and a squadron. So that's to reflect, you're going for that critical mass in a firebombing attack. Okay, so we roll 1 dice and add 3 to it. A 1 plus 3 is a 4. So we failed to destroy Hichoji. I'm not very impressed by our mission so far. All right, Kumagaya is going in. Let's see if he's intercepted. Again, low altitude area. 5, he certainly is. That might be good because maybe we'll finally destroy these fighters. All right. Again, he will not lose anything to oil because you always get 1. The Japanese always get 1 unit. So 4, 5, 6, 12. They're at 12, which is a 10, and we are 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, which is 10. So we're both rolling on the 10 column. Both rolled 3s. So for me, that means I lose 1 damaged, or excuse me, one destroyed, 1 returned to base. For the Japanese, 1 destroyed, which is awesome. Awesome. These guys will go in without fighters. So, all right, again, we need a 6. We're adding 3 to our die roll. And we rolled a 6, plus 3 would be 9, so plenty. So we did successfully firebomb Kumagaya. So we put an incinerated marker on that. That city is incinerated. And now, this is kind of cool, because there's no fighters here, and there's more than one mission. They all go to their targets. Isazika, Chosi, and guess what? Because we're laying mines, we're all subjected to the least impacted anti-aircraft mission in all the missions. Mines are no anti-aircraft, so none of these planes are subjected to anti-aircraft, so we're not going to take any losses. So we just have to see if we successfully hit these cities. 1, 2, we got to get a 6, and we're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the die roll. So they're both destroyed. Even a 1 plus 5 is 6. And the same thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units attacking it. So both these cities, Chosi and Izeki, are destroyed. I could go ahead and roll the dice, but it doesn't matter. Anything 1 through 6, we destroy them. So that is very cool. Very well done. All right, that was a better ending. And no losses because of the mine laying mission. So we didn't need to hit mine laying missions, but boy, did that help. All right. Good. And he comes back. Let me get all my guys back. Let me get myself organized here. All right. Okay, that takes care of that. On to track 5, a mission to Kagoshima. Let's see if it's intercepted. The Japanese roll a 2 on area bombing. That's half. So this one will have to intercept because he's 4. Yeah, so he's going to intercept. And we've got those guys. We made this one heavy because I knew they'd be intercepted. So Japan has 2 because they lose the effect of this 2 because of oil. 2 plus 2 for the city, Kagoshima, plus 4. So the Japanese have 8, and we have 5, 10, 16. So the Japanese have 8. So overall in the 7 column, we have 16. We'll be on the 16 column. We both rolled 2s. Japanese on the 7 column, a 2 is 1 destroyed. And we rolled a 2 on the 16 column, 1 destroyed. Okay, and again, similar situation to last time. Kagoshima is automatically destroyed. We just have to roll 6 or better, and we're adding 6 to the die roll. We've got 6 factors here, adding 6 to the die roll. So Kagoshima is successfully incinerated, firebombed, and these planes return to base. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Okay, my second raid at Nagasaki. Let's see if they intercept. 6, they certainly do. So these 2 planes intercept. Hopefully I'll destroy them. We'll see. 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, so I've got 16, and the Japanese have 2, 4, 8. So 16, and they're on the 7 column. So 16 column and 7 column. They rolled a 1, we rolled a 3. So in the 7 column, we took no losses. On the 16 column, we rolled a 3. I wish it had been 4 or more. We could have gotten them both, but we got one of them. You always take the smaller one. So that's destroyed. And the city, again, automatically incinerated. We're adding 8 to our die roll. We need a 6 or better. So we got, I might have been a little conservative on these attacks. Maybe I should have been a little more aggressive. But I shouldn't complain. I did okay, but I maybe could have been a little more aggressive. I've had games where I've gotten super aggressive and ended up, you know, not incinerating the cities. There's nothing more wasteful than a mission that goes out and doesn't get the city. All right, now we're on to an atomic bomb attack. So let's have just out of tradition, we'll have the Enola Gay go first. Her target is Matsuyama. The way an atomic bomb attack works is you do a weather check at the first target. You pass the weather check on a roll of 1 to 3. And if you pass the weather check, the bomb is deployed. I rolled a 1. So I passed the weather check. Matsuyama is bombed. The A bomb goes back off board. You put a mushroom cloud counter over Matsuyama, and the Enola Gay goes back to base. So we have the first atomic bomb in history has been dropped on Matsuyama. By the way, just across the inland inland sea from Hiroshima, as it happens. My second raid is going to Uji Yamada, right down here. Same thing. This is the full house with an A-bomb. The plane, by the way, that actually carried the second atom bomb was Boxcar. But I'm defying tradition by having full house do it. Again, 1 to 3, it passes a weather test. 6. All right, Uji Yamada is not bombed. I get to choose a second minor city. I'm going to go right up the street to Sioux, and hopefully the weather. No, you know what? Just being a little nervous. I'm going to go all the way across the island to Agaki, all the way across the track to Agaki. Maybe the weather's a lot different there because obviously it was pretty lousy here. So Agaki is my second choice. Now, on your second target, you pass a weather check on a roll of 1 to 4. Why is that? Because when these bombings took place, there were weather planes at these locations checking the weather. So your odds of getting good weather at the second target were actually better. So 1 to 4, fingers crossed. 2. So we have successfully deployed the second atom bomb on Agaki. The bomb goes off board. Mushroom cloud counter comes on Agaki, and full house returns to base. That completes our missions. So, on to scoring campaigns and victory. All right, scoring campaigns. We've got 2 campaigns going on. Mine laying, which is going to end next turn anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't move it back any. It's already at. And then upward 1. And then ports. 1, 2, 3. 3 destroyed. 1, 2, 3. And 2. 1, 2. Not destroyed. So we're fine there. Victory. 15. We need 15 cities destroyed with 1 in each target track. Now, as it happens, we have no minor cities destroyed in target track 2. Obviously, we don't have 15 anyway, but I want to take you through the calculation that we'd be thinking about. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 destroyed. So it's really not too bad for our first effort. 7 destroyed, but not 15 and not in every track. So it's an automatic win. Tally the oil, air, and infrastructure tracks. Well, the only thing left of Japan is 2 points on the infrastructure track, so we move that up 2. All right. And the IJAAF manufacturer squadrons, again, they're down to 1 on the air production level, and when you're at the air production level of 1, the Japan automatically gets 1. So they get 1 manufactured unit. It's always the weakest group that's been destroyed, which is a 2. And we're not going to roll on the new group placement table because we have a vacant track. So it automatically goes to the vacant track. Research and return B-29 groups. No B-29 groups were destroyed. Research, we have 10 points, right? We got 4 plus 6 for the city. Even though that's been restored, we always get the point. So we got 10 points, so we can advance this to 10. And that means 2 bombs per turn at a cost of 10 research points each turn. So as long as we don't lose a B-29 and have to pay a point to get them back, we're going to get 2 bombs every turn. So we get 2 more atom bombs. So next turn we'll be able to bomb some more cities with atom bombs. Bombing repair. First bombing campaign repair. We've got ports and mine laying that could potentially be repaired. We rolled a 1 and a 5. So 5, 1, 1, 5. Well, that's interesting. We prepared every single mine laying mission, which is great because they're going anyway. So that was the right one to repair. None of the ports got repaired, which is good. All right. Minor city restoration. Now, minor city restoration is here, the destroyed minor city restoration table. You don't repair atom bomb destroyed minor cities. That's the benefit of the atom bomb. Those cities are destroyed for the rest of the game. But the firebomb cities can be restored, and you roll based on the number of destroyed cities. So we got firebomb cities. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 firebomb cities. So the column is 5 to 6. if we hadn't achieved maximum practical destruction, which we have, if we hadn't, we'd add 1 to that die roll. So the Japanese are better at repairing their cities if they haven't destroyed all their major cities. Unfortunately for them, we've destroyed all their major cities. So they roll 1 die on the 5 to 6 table. They got a 2. So they restore 1 city. So we choose which city they were. If they had 2 or more, you have to restore a city in each track that has a major city destroyed before you can restore 2 in 1 track. So in other words, you can't focus all your efforts in 1 track so that you keep another track, destroyed. You have to take 1 from each city that has a firebombed, or each track that has a firebombed city, if you can. In this case, they only get 1, so I think I'll repair Chosi, because that gives me the atom bomb option in this area, right? I could hit Hachoji, and then if I miss, I can go to Choshi. I always like to have that option. So I'll repair that city. Major city restoration after MPD achieved. We don't have to do that because there is a restored city. We're not at MPD right now. We're at MPD in terms of the game, but we're not at the MPD point where we have to restore a city because we have a restored city. So we don't have to do anything there. And now major city repair. We roll for repair on the late war, right? Because we're in the late war. On the late war repair column, and we subtract 6 from the die roll because of the infrastructure damage. So Japan rolls a 4 minus 6 is minus 2. That's 5. So they get 5 repair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy. All right. Next turn, if I want to bomb, if I decide not to atom bomb Tokyo, I'm going to have to hit him with 5 bombers. That's not a ton. I guess 5 groups is fine. I'll hit him with a conventional attack again and use my atom bombs for minor cities. That takes care of major city repair, and that finishes turn August. So we're now going into September 1945. We got 2 more atom bombs. We are loaded up with bombers. I'm predicting a good ending to this game. Thanks for joining me.